But I take it family break, but you still got time to follow the draw, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What's your first impression?
I watched it live. Yeah, I mean, again, obviously the Belgium game is going to be the talking point, isn't it? Because we've just played them, got the point that we needed, thankfully, to finish second in the playoffs. So again, Holland are one of the teams, one of the best in the world on the game as well, and Poland, again, a lot of respect for them as a nation and as a footballing team. So 3 tough games, but we know on our day as well that we can go up against the best. We proved it recently against Belgium. And thought we could have gone on to win the game at the end. You know, we didn't just sit back and was happy with the point. I thought we pushed and tried to get the winner as well. So, yeah, listen, all those teams in that group are there because they're very, very good teams. So we respect that. Like I said, as a nation now, we've come on in recent months and we don't fear anybody. We respect them, but we'll have a go against them.
And you mentioned Belgium. I mean, is there any advantage in the fact that you have played them recently and maybe you know more about them? Because, you know, the other possibilities were France, Italy and Spain.
Well, I think it was a good exercise for us. I mean, he made wholesale changes, you know, to the team that played us. But sometimes that can work against you because the players that he puts in have got a point to prove to him. And they know that when they go to the World Cup, that they want to be in that starting 11. And irrespective of whether you're Lukaku up top, you know, he's got to be looking over his shoulder as well, thinking, well, who's the next one that's taking my jersey? And so sometimes that can work against you, but it gave us an opportunity. It was a good exercise, but he didn't change his style of play. We know how he's going to play, but the personnel can vary. And sometimes when you haven't got high eyes on them, it can be quite difficult. But having just played them, you know, we pretty much know going to have an understanding of all the players he's got in his squad and what a group of players he's got, by the way.
Yeah. But hey, you know, you mentioned your own squad as well. I mean, where are you at the moment in terms of its development and reaching their full potential?
Well, I think expectations are going up every game because, you know, go back to 2016, we were probably punching above our weight to get to the semi-finals, if I'm being brutally honest. You know, I was a supporter back home sitting there with my kids watching it then and just being so proud of the achievement. But realistically, when you take a step back, we know we punched above our weight. But what we did really well as an association is, and I'm speaking about the chief executive at the time and everybody else involved, was we used the money wisely and we reinvested it into developing the training facilities that we've got to get these players in and give them more minutes on camp, which inevitably you improve the intermediate groups, the younger ages. Eventually they're going to filter through like they have done. You've seen it now. I think in the Euros, we had the 3rd youngest age for the group of players in the Euros, which is credit to the work that we've done and the investment we've given back into grassroots football. So expectations are being raised now. It's not unusual now for us to qualify for a Euros, a major tournament. You know, we've given ourselves a great chance to qualify for a World Cup, first time since 1958, I think it is. So, you know, it's Wales are on the up, we're on the rise, and this is part of it. But we've got 2 big games in March that we have to focus on, and then potentially go through to these groups, which will give us a great understanding of what we're going to face if and when we get to the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you mentioned a lot of young players that are involved these days, and I'm guessing that playing against this caliber of opposition is great for their development.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've just alluded to it now in a previous interview that we've got a lot of young players at the minute playing Premiership football. Well, we've not had that for a while. You know, we've not had that for a while in Welsh football. A lot of our younger players, using Joe Roden as an example, he's an unbelievable talent, and rightly so, got to move to a big Premiership club in Tottenham Hotspur, but now understands that he might have to move on and play games of football, because we want our best players playing week in, week out, because when they turn up and play against the Belgiums of the world, if they're playing in the Premiership week in, week out, it's not a culture shock for them. They're used to that standard. They're used to the movement of Lukaku. They're used to playing against him and the physicality and the demands of Premiership and top-class football. And that's where we want our players. So what surprises us as supporters and what makes us proud is that we've got an abundance of players in that changing room that aren't, unfortunately, playing at the Premiership. But for whatever reason, when they come to Wales, they give that level of performance, like against Belgium recently, like against Turkey in the summer in the Euros, like against Italy, albeit it was a defeat. But again, we went toe-to-toe with them in large spells of the game. And we have that camaraderie, that team spirit that gives us maybe that edge over other teams where we haven't got that 20 Premiership players to pick from. But like I said, the players that are playing domestic football and Premiership football at the minute and playing against teams like Poland, Holland, and Belgium will hold us in good stead for future competitions and certainly the World Cup.
Absolutely. And, you know, you mentioned pride there, but it must also give you an immense sense of pride that here you are at the top table with the best, some of the best national sides in the world, certainly in Europe, and Wales is one of them.
Yeah, you know, I was really proud. I watched the draw live, and when it said, right, we've come to the top teams, and Wales were part of that, and we haven't fluked that. You know, we've thoroughly deserved to get there, and the work that the boys put in through the Nations League to get promoted out of B2A was phenomenal. You know, and the results and the performances, the level of performances they give, and credit has to go to those players. You know, so. Yeah, it was a great achievement, and like I said, really proud to be watching the draw and be a part of those, you know, some wonderful teams in that top division. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for taking the time. Good luck with it all, and enjoy the rest of your stay in Mexico.